no rhythm, no, it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool.
So here in the testing arena, the speaker testing arena, with the new LA90 Discrete, it is time to give it its full assessment, and I've lined up 3 badasses. Buchardt S 300 Mark 1s, so the harder to drive originals. The new Mark 2s sound very, very similar, I believe. I've been told, but I haven't actually experienced them, but they're way more efficient. The crossover board in these Bucharts is the entire size of the bottom. Looks like a little city down there. So they lose a lot of efficiency because a lot of the power gets used running electricity through all the crossover components. The last time I ran these speakers on the LA90, they were, in total, one of the best listening experiences I've ever had. Period. Just stop, end of quote, done. And sitting here for the last hour and a half, just wallpaper available in the Horde. Patreon subscribe star. Thank you guys who support me on this channel. Check it out. You get some good benefits down there. See reviews early, yard sales, things like that. So check it. I think it's the same. I right now, because the real problem with the LA90 was when I ran it in monoblock, which I don't have a second one. I don't know if a second one's coming. But it should be more better because this setup, these are, I think, 6 ohm. They have no information on the backplate because these are the OGs. These might be one of the first sets of Bucharts in the country, by the way. But when I tried to run them with monoblocks, the quality dropped because the original LA90 literally stated specs for 4 ohm and 8 ohm for stereo, but only 8 ohm for monoblock. And that was the problem because they literally were like, don't do this on anything lower ohms. And these were lower ohms. So hooking up 2 of them actually made it worse. Right now, the cohesion, the word I'm going to use is cohesion and spectacularity. I'm making up words. It's going to be fine. Holy fuck. That's it. I'm sold. Richard Cheese, Nothing is Everything from Big Cheese Energy 2020-2021 release.
Here's a little song about one of my favorite meds for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
I'm in the space. So I'm not reviewing the speakers. If you want to know about the Bucharts, just check out the Buchardt link in the description. We're here to talk about the amp. Now, I'm running it off of the Aune S8 DAC, which is a very favorite DAC of mine, and I know there's not many people who... Let's get the ball. Link to Trideer. Audiophile ball. Used to do things like this. Waifu. This DAC has a problem in that if you... By the way, I have this on springs. I have little spring legs. This DAC has a problem where if you plug into the coaxial... Not the coaxial digital, the fiber optic or the II2S, usually the relay goes, it can't connect. When I was just running it off of like topping D10, something like that, something that just converted. But since I have the Matrix X SPDIF 3 here, feeding the II2S via a long HDMI cable into it, it hooks fine. So I'm using this as my control because I wanted to not have to deal with getting up and touching the volume knob here. So in the back of this unit, I have it in high gain. And I have it set to power amp mode. So this volume knob now does nothing. It's in the input 1. If this had a remote control, like if Topping wanted to really, really fuck with the establishment of amplification, because this is not a cheap amp. If they wanted to bring it back to the $900 price point instead of the $800 price point, or what are we, 7 now? Cheaper, they would put the a motorized knob in this so that it can oot, oot, oot. And then you'd have just a simple remote with volume up and down, next input, and standby. And then I could recommend this thing for living room use. I still can. If you're using this, like, here's the thing. You don't need to use an Aune S8 to get the benefits of having a remote, which is the whole reason. If I was a remote for an Aune S8, I'd be in my right pocket. That's where I'd be. I just wanted to be able to use a remote volume control so I'm not getting up and twisting a knob all the time. So I'm using the volume control on the Aune. You'll note the gouged button here. I literally cut that fucking button out because it's the Satan button. So that's the one thing I would recommend. Because the S8 here, if I hold this button down, it then becomes line out. So that's full volume into whatever amplifier. But I have to hold this button down. On the remote, that button was become full line out, right next to the volume control. You know where a mute would be or something? Was full line out, the button. So not controlling the volume on this, controlling the volume on this. This is my source. Into these, using these cables, by the way, I want to point these out. When I was at Capital Audio Fest, GAUNTLET Labs was showing off their new like $2,000 like speaker amp, and they had these wonderful, absolutely spectacular looking speaker cables on there. And I was like, oh my God, they went all out. They must have found a company to sponsor them. They were $60 on Amazon. Well, those were these. I got these. They're $30 on Amazon or $35. I don't know. We'll see if they're still there. And they're just a weaved, like, they're like super. I don't even know how many gauge they are because that's all wire. And the set I got came with spades, and I had to steal the bananas off another set. But here we are, LA90D, listening to literally anything on these speakers. And I don't believe Mushoku Tensei, new teacher. By the way, sound demos, if you join the Patreon for $5 a month, you get the access to these sound demos where I can play all music at all times to anybody because it's not on YouTube. Because YouTube hates people playing music. Anyway, Mushoku Tensei, new teacher. I don't have that sub on, by the way. I have it wired up, but I don't have the volume up, so it's just these. I wanted to get purity going. We're going to switch now to the Aperion towers. If you didn't recognize them, that's because you're looking at their ugly side. Their good side is here, where it's like, oh, fuck. Fuck. And then we'll finish off with the hardest speakers on the earth to drive, and probably the best ones also, the RB42s, Micca RB42s. Because honestly, testing, these are inefficient speakers, and these are efficient speakers. I might even have to put them on low gain. But then those, I hit a limit. And the only thing that brought those past the limit was the Stark-Rimson monos. So I expect this to get closer to that, but I don't expect this to beat the Stark-Rimson monos. Those are $1,900 for the pair in the current configuration I have, and this, being $100 less, is half that cost. But we'll find out. We will find out. Let me switch to the big boys, the big ugly plain. Maybe I'll get an Ahego print like fabric and put it in there because something. Can't play any more than that. Sherlock Holmes OST. God, the new ones, the Iron Man ones, so good. And I say new, but they're like 15 years old, and I want to kick something. I clown on these a lot, and like they look like they're the dunce caps sitting backwards in the system, because this is like you want to look pretty from behind, and that's the truth. But my God, do these deliver the $4,000 speaker experience? Aperion, thumbs the fuck up. I actually got the amp to clip. This was just one to test it on because I feel like these could take it. I feel like I'm going to get it to clip on the RB42s more now than I did before. But this is a raise. Keep in mind, this is only 66 watts. The previous one, the non-discrete is 50 watts. So you would get it up past a certain point and it would just come out of that beautifully clean, insanely fucking accurate range. Like, that's why I use it for headphone amp, as a headphone amp. 5 watts. You have no concerns, even 10 watts, 20 watts. When you get to the 40 to 50 where it's like limited, where that's the end of it, you'll get the distortion. You'll find where this ends. And I found where this ended. The volume control in the OWN that's controlling it, and I did a test. Like I had the volume nailed all the way and I flipped the switch and it didn't get any louder or quieter. So it would be the same if you were using the knob. Out of 120, because it goes 0 to 120, I am currently at 110 out of 120 with these speakers on this track, and it gets real loud at the end, real loud. And then I had it after 113, 114 out of 120. You'll start to get the and I had it up to the maximum, and the whole speaker went, so it's like, oh nope, found the limit. So not impossibly good power. It's not a Stark-Rimson mono. All right, the mono blocks that those are 150 watts and linear from watt 0 to watt 150. This, you're paying half the price, although if you did double them up, you'd be close. I think if I had the monoblock versions of this, I would not be able to. They're like 200 watts. It becomes 200 watts a piece or something silly. I actually don't remember the numbers, and I probably should know them since I am reviewing it. Skip around a little bit.
My lover's got humor. He's the giggle at a funeral.
So now I know on a loud song, this is the safe limit, 110. I could take it to 112 and even maybe 113, but 110 is like I played the songs and I had no distortion. So now I know every song that comes on is going to come out of these Aperion concert grand versus towers, and it's going to sound.
Knows everybody's disapproval. I should.
Postmodern Jukebox, Take Me to Church. Feat Morgan James.
Worshipped him sooner.
Megalobox, Season 2, Homecoming. Skipping ahead. When I hit the right arrow key, it changes the input on the own, that's just the saddest fucking thing ever. So, dude, I can't fast forward, but it's okay. Wait. See, that's annoyingly loud, and I think that's not the amplifier clipping. I think that's just, I set it real loud. I'm also using a Replaygain alternative on this foobar installation. It's not the one that comes with foobar. It's an actual add-on, and it runs in the DSP manager. And it does a lot to actually quiet the songs down. Like you could set the output level to Spotify equivalent or vinyl rate. It's like has these different levels. So it takes it down a good 5-6 decibels. So I'm pushing this probably more than it would need to if that was disabled. But either way. Oh, there was a little bit of a crackle. Oh, but wait a second. This is the Megalobox OST. So the thing about the Megalobox OST, one of the finest, if you like Rocky Balboa, like the character, and if you loved Rockies 1 through 4, but you thought maybe they'd be better with a better soundtrack, and also if they were animated, and also if they were an anime, that's what you watch. You watch Megalobox. And then Season 2 would be what Rocky 5 should have been if Rocky 5 was like a 12-episode series about coming back after the whole thing, and what a fucking series. Yeah, no, I had to lower it again. Now I'm at 98. So depending on the different frequencies we're looking at, how hard that's getting pushed, or pulled, I should say, because it's pushing frequencies there, or it's pushing frequencies there. Very rarely will a tweeter, very rarely will treble distort an amplifier, because usually a tweeter, as long as the crossover is not a complete fuck, tweeter can run on like 8 watts and kill you. So usually when the bass notes hit, or in this case, since I am not like bi-amping these, this entire speaker is a system. When a bass note happens, a lot of the draw out of that is coming to deal with that. And if there's mid-range or something up in this area at the same time, that's when you'll get the distortion, because it's just the power is oh shit here instead of oh shit here and there, which is why bi-amping is a thing, not by wiring, by amplification. In fact, I have a literally fucking stacks. I could use the Sabage monoblocks if I wanted to on just the top here. I can get 2 other fucking, actually, fuck, how much work am I about to give myself? All right, I heard distortion. I'm gonna fix that. I did a thing. I made an Oreo, which you probably saw from the thumbnail, because I took a picture of the thumbnail going, yeah, oh shit. So LA90, LA90, LA90D. Monoblocked left channel, just the bass. Monoblocked right channel, just the bass, leaving this to be the only thing pushed by the new Discrete. And if you do, obviously 3 is a weirdo thing, because I have this still playing in stereo, and that's mono and mono. But all the power that's needed to make the is now being provided by individualized LA90s for 2/8 and LA90 for 2/8. And I could have done stereo again. Point is, and also I'm now using, these are the RI cables from Italy, by the way. They're expensive. but I didn't pay for them, and they're really fucking nice. And I love, unless the translation in Italian came off wrong, because I will absolutely use and promote expensive high-end audio gear. If you promise me it's not going to make a fucking audible difference. As soon as you're like, no, you don't understand. You've never heard, like, IM cables, I'm starting to come around to like, okay, impedance is a thing because the thing is this big and it's super low impedance, and the wire itself can actually fuck up the sound traveling from here to there. But like RCA cables, XLR cables, speaker cables, just tell me you made it nice. Just tell me you made it nice in a fancy faraway land, then I can brag about it, and it's worth $250 a set. All right? But as soon as you're like, no, it sounds better, then fuck off. But yeah, anyway, RI cables, RCA now, coming out of the DAC into the LA90D, which means it has a little less voltage coming in, but I don't have to use any weird splitters, and then I have an XLR going to one and an XLR going to the other, monoblocked. And I have the DAC is currently lower, but the amplifiers all aren't on max because they have to be leveled, because it's a weird scenario when it's not leveled. So that's a Mr. Robot, by the way. Just know that Mr. Robot, the show, and Mr. Robot, the soundtrack, are two of the best things you'll ever experience in your life. Okay, what the fuck is this? The Chronicles of Narnia, the greatest film themes. CD from 1968 to 2006. I would love to play some Monogatari for you, but I can only do that in private after you become a $5 patron or subscriber, because that's where the sound demos are, and I could play all the fucking Guitari I want. If I play it here on YouTube, it's blocked internationally and worldwide. Someone taught Japan how to lawyer, and it's not fun. But anyway, like, that's probably as far as I can get away with it. Yeah, I actually had to pull the pins out. If you remember these speakers, you don't know about these speakers, they have pins that let you adjust the crossover. So I had to pull all the pins out so the treble is down 4 decibels, because it's playing so much louder now. Now that I freed up the bass and I could turn everything where I wanted to, that the treble was getting like a little bit up in my face. So I'm like, ah! So now that I've tweaked it, tweaked those individual, I've put all the volume knobs on so I can adjust them. Now I'm adjusting now that I've got everything there individually adjusted, I can adjust with this. And I probably still wouldn't take it to 120, but at 110, you know what the actual problem became? I was hearing rattles. Like, oh shit, is it distortion? No. It's literally metal things on metal things, and the anime figures are shaking around. It's actually destroying the room at this point. But the point of this demonstration is the linearity of everything. Now we've at least matched the Star Crimsons. But, you know, I'm using 3 of these amplifiers, and that would be $1,800. It's like $2,500 in amplifiers there. So, just to go show you how good the Star Crimsons are. This is Evil Dead, More Skin. All right, we got to do the last one. Well, my food's going to be here in 1 minute. 1 minute. He's still 5 minutes away. I don't understand. 5 minutes away. 2 minutes Turkish for the sausages. Hey, Joey, where are the sausages? 5 minutes Turkish. You said 2 minutes 5 minutes ago. Yeah, all right. I've sort of... Oh my fucking God. This is Yoko Kanno, Faye, the DJ Valium remix. Vadim remix. From the Cowboy Bebop remixes. I just want to play music to my audience. Come join the Patreon. Because the sound demos, I now enjoy sound demos again. It got like, every time I made one I was nervous, and now I don't give a fuck. Like the whole of the basement is shaking, and I've done a lot of stuff in this basement. All right. What's with remotes on the floor today? Swapping to the actual hardest to drive speakers, which I may have to put back the XLR to get that extra oomph. RB42s. I can't. Every fucking time. Like, you don't understand. Hold on, let me see if I can get this to...
To the depths depths of despair, I have been sent.
Okay, now that I brought the camera back online, Micca RB42s, every time they're in a review, just as a speaker, it's like, oh fuck, I should probably re-review these speakers because they're now I've got the volume, high gain, we're just coming off the Discrete, we're fixed volume again, so it's all coming off the DAC, 110. No, get off of that. Where'd the mouse go? 110 is a lot. 110 is a lot. And I know from the previous time I tested these speakers on the non-discrete, there was a line, if it got loud, it got real bad. All right, well, this is you know what? Ironic. Phantom Planet, Big Brat is probably the loudest song, like on average from Replaygain. I think it needs like a negative 13 decibels. So if this distorts, which it will, like it's not gonna, it's just when. I'm at 120, I'm maxed. This is as loud as that amplifier will push these speakers with that DAC, and I switch the DAC back to XLR, so it's getting full voltage. That's it, I can't. And it's not sounding like it's happy, but it's not exploding either. I think it also might be the Replaygain is bringing everything down. Quite balanced. Let me lower this before I hit the next track button again. 105. It's probably enough to get me pulled, but let's just girls. Not a very demanding track. Honestly, if you needed a song to play very, very, very loudly and you had like a shit system, Beastie Boys Girls has almost no low end and it's super recognizable. So that would be the go-to song. That would be the GOAT song to just blast, like, because it can't distort. It literally can't. In fact, let's test that by going back to 120 and I'm pausing this. No, it's literally impossible to distort anything with the song Girls by the Beastie Boys. Like even there, just Dragon Age OST epilogue just came in with a. How's it doing low end? These are also way too far apart, by the way. We are at like the extent of where I would have listening. Like that's sort of like it's almost in line with where my surround speakers are having a center channel, and I'm still getting a great center image. I just want to gush. I just want to gush out of all the orifices of my body. Saint-Tropez. I'm gonna go to 110. 110 is like comfy. Let me get to a loud song, like a song that starts loud. Oh my! What is this? Can I play this? When can I start playing things? That's just, hey YouTube. This song's 300 years old, although it was performed by living beings that exist now while lawyers exist. So. This is Mozart Rondalla Turca. Rondalla Turca. You know what? That's going in the fucking sound demo. Remember we're talking about sound demos? This is too delicate and fine a song not to put in the new test folder. Boom. What other things do I have on here? I can't wait for you to come into the cupboard. Not a hint of distortion. And we are probably within, I would say, 90th percentile of how loud these speakers are capable of at 112 on the dial. Let's do a burst at 120 maximum. This is it, everybody. If it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up to this song, and I will cry because we'll all just cry. Nope, clean. So I guess there's your improvement. You save $100, and if you have RB42s, which is a $170 pair of speakers, you can now push them to maximum. Fucking maximum with this amplifier. So all you gotta do is spend, what, $800? $800, not $700? It's easy, it's easy buy. The playlist I have, because I still make a playlist to use for sound demos, but it's any song I feel like it, just good ones. And the playlist is fucking Oh, there was a distortion. What is this? This is Rich Spirit from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's an unlabeled track with no replay gain information. That might be part of the reason it's doing that. Hold on. Let's run a real quick replay gain scan as a single file. If you don't know what replay gain is, you fucking should. It listens to your song, it finds out how loud it is, and it puts that in a text document. And it's like, all right, this is as loud as it ever gets. Here's the average loudness of it. And when you have a player like Fubar or Portables, it'll be like, what do you want to do with this information? You want every song to sort of be the same volume. Like loud songs should still be loud, but really quiet songs should be a little bit louder, and really loud songs should be a little bit quieter. So it ought to just keeps it from being like crazy when you're switching playlists. All right, so now I've got a negative 12 decibel. I'm sorry, negative 9 decibel on that. Let's just play again from the beginning. It's probably still going to distort. Yep. Ooh.
Get my baby to school, then I pray for.
All right, we're at 120 out of 120, so let's take that down and see how many steps before that does not distort at that section. Because it's certain frequencies also. Again, like I just said, when the bass comes in and the mid-range comes in, it's more power.
Taking my baby to.
All right, went to 113, and it did not crackle. Let's try 115. Not that this exactly matters to you, but it matters to me. I want to know how far I can go.
Taking my baby to school, then I pray for. 'Cause you bitches ain't never been cool, right? Testament, pay the bitches, put me in the loop. That's the devil.
All right, that's a lot of bass. Holy shit. And we're still at 115, so I would say that's a qualification.
Universal shift, I'm in the groove. A celebrity do not mean integrity, you fool. I'm a.
Holy shit. All right, that's going to actually excurge the speaker too hard. That's a word, right? Excurge. Let's take that, let's back that way the fuck down to 110.
Good man, shake your hand, firm grip, rule 72.
These speakers are so dumb. All right, officially ending this video. Amplifier, good. Speakers, all three, exceptional. Price to performance, that one, the end. Any questions? You could try them in the comments. I will more likely answer them if you're asking the $10 patronage chat. You can either be a Patreon or Subscribe-Star subscriber. If you don't like the politics of Patreon, Subscribe-Star exists, and I get a slightly higher percentage. So there you go, although it is kind of wonky. But adult.subscribestar has a lot of nasty, dirty things, just like Patreon used to. That's my only promotion for Subscribe-Star. They don't pay me for that. I just, there's some dirty artists on there. Wallpapers in the Horde. There's a wallpaper link Horde. You can get the code, or you can just go there and get every wallpaper I've ever used ever. Patreon and Subscribe-Star. Support this channel. Legitimately. You're paying my bills. All these electric lights don't matter shit when you're running heaters. It's all I gotta tell you is when you see lights on in someone's house, don't be that guy that's like, and what, you get free electricity around here? No, motherfucker. I run electric heat and electric air conditioning. Lights mean nothing. That's where all the power goes to. Anyway, so you're paying for that $5 a month. See reviews early. Participate in yard sales, where let's not discuss yard sales and LA90s yet. All right, so I'm not there. I'm not prepared. But buy things from the yard sale. I ship internationally. Sound demos I've talked about a million times. You want to actually enjoy music that I can discover that sounds great on things, check out the sound demos, which are available only to supporters. For $10 a month, private behind the scenes Telegram chat where you get to ask me questions at Zeospantera in the patronage chat. If you are in that chat, you also get access to a lifetime swap meet channel where you can buy, sell, and trade gear. So that if you have an old LA90, an old, more expensive LA90, and you want to move to the Discrete one, you get a few $100s for it, sell it to a fellow patron. Everyone likes everybody, move on. And you're in that for life. So yeah, that's it. This is the third and final installment of the LA90 franchise, LA90D franchise. I did 2 videos for the last one, or 3, and now this is the end of it. So back to Monogatari, so I can't play this. Goodbye, see you all in the next one. Woo! Old dog. All the tricks. Oh.